This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hello everyone, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day and happy pack release day as well. I think it comes out today at least. So I promised you guys that I wasn't going to be doing like super small houses for this entire week or smaller apartments and stuff. So yesterday, even though I got started way late because I was hanging out with a friend, I decided to build this house. So it's built on a 30 by 20. It's not a big house still, but 30 by 20 is a nice sized house for me, I think. I don't know, I prefer that lot size, I think, and tiny houses, of course, over 40 by 30s. So this is a nice lot size for me personally. And I feel like you can do quite a lot with a 30 by 20. Anyway, it's for two parents and also two kids. The kids share a bedroom. They have a bunk bed situation going on in there. And it's actually based off of a Swedish house. So it's one of those houses that you can buy the floor plan for and then have it built somewhere. Or I didn't actually fully read into it on the page. I just know that it's Swedish. I didn't read if it was like a project or something they had going on in like one area and they were just building a lot of identical houses. I don't know if it's something like that, but I know that they had the floor plan up there. So I'm assuming it's one of those situations where you can buy the floor plan and then have it built somewhere. But I don't really know. It also comes in different colors and stuff. I decided to go for black and white because that's what I wanted to go for the interior as well. So I like when the exterior and the interior kind of match a little bit, and I felt like it was just fitting to do that with this house. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're building a through and through Scandinavian house. And I hope you guys are excited about it. I hope you guys will like this house as well. I had a lot of fun building in it, or building with it, building on it, yeah. And I just still through and through enjoy this pack so much because it just reminds me of like here. It just reminds me of home. So yeah, I hope you guys will like this house. You'll probably notice that shape-wise it's actually not that interesting, but a lot of newer, more modern houses or just a lot of like newer, newly built houses here aren't really that interesting when it comes to the shape. We're kind of limited to what we can do with the roofing because it does tend to rain, and if it's not raining, then you know it's snowing, so you can't have flat roofs, for example. I think that's actually a rule, just like it is in Scotland. You can't have fully flat roofs simply because it rains too much, so that already puts some limitations on what you can do. And then other than that, I think for Scandinavians, they just prefer like cleaner lines, I suppose, or something, more simple shapes. If you look at like traditional Danish houses here as well, not like traditional houses, I don't know, but like the more generic kind of house here in the area that I live in, and I know the same counts for Copenhagen as well, so like bigger cities, but the suburban areas of those cities, the houses are very squared, maybe with like a little bit of like a bump out, but that's basically it. There's not much going on with the shape, and it's still like that when it comes to newly built houses. My dad's house is basically a rectangle if you look at it from the exterior. There's nothing going on to it, like it's just a rectangle. So yeah, I feel like it's like that with a lot of these kinds of houses. You can find more contemporary houses where there's a little bit more going on, but it's still very, very simple shape-wise. So, and that kind of, when it comes to transferring that into The Sims, or however you say that, like building realistic looking houses in The Sims like that, I feel like they quickly look a little bit boring, but I really wanted to build a house that was very realistic to Scandinavia, so I just kind of went with it. It's very simple shape-wise, but like I just explained, that is just newer Scandinavian architecture is basically just like that, so when it comes to like residential lots at least. Someone actually asked me if I could, and I'm not trying to, call you out or anything, because we've already had a little back and forth, but they asked me if I could do a Scandinavian mansion, but I asked my friend who I was hanging out with yesterday if she knew what a Scandinavian mansion was, because I've literally never heard of a newer Scandinavian mansion, and she's like, I don't really know what they're talking about because they don't really exist. I am sure there's a couple of like bigger houses, but if you think about American standards for a mansion, we really don't have that. Sure, we have like palaces and forts, or whatever you call those in English. I don't really know. We have those, but we don't really have like newly built mansions, like contemporary looking mansions with big windows and stuff. We love big windows, yeah, but we don't really have like proper mansions according to American standards, at least. So that's probably not going to happen. But I would be tempted to do something more of like a contemporary looking Scandinavian kind of house at some point. That's maybe a little bit on the bigger side as soon as I have time for it, because it does require me to dedicate a lot of hours to building it. But once I got time for it, I'll definitely try to jump into it. So far though, we're sticking to this 30 by 20. So yeah, I'm sorry I keep clapping my hands. If you can hear that, I'm terribly sorry. I can't sit still when I'm doing voiceovers. So if you hear me randomly clapping, it's basically just because I don't know how to sit still. It's fine. So when it comes to the interior in this house, I am daring to say, or I dare say, whatever. You guys get what I mean. That this is actually pretty close to what I would consider like dream interior for me, because it's just nice, simple, not a lot of color, if any at all, and lots of like black accents as well, even though I would have liked like a chair with like, so the seating is black and then it has like white legs, or maybe a chair with like a dark gray and then black legs or something like that, because the black on black is it's a little much, she says, having those exact chairs in her own apartment, whatever. But overall, I feel like this would be pretty much like right up my alley. I feel like this would be pretty close to my dream interior, to be honest. Exterior wise, I'm not so sure, although I do like the whole like upper floor situation we got going on, because the parents' bedroom is basically under the roof and they have like huge skylights and stuff, and I feel like that's really cool, as long as it's not during a heat wave, because that would be unbearable. We're not allowed to have air condition here in Scandinavia, so it would be pretty warm all the time. They would probably need like a lot of fans or something just like scattered around in the bedroom, because otherwise I feel like it would just be unbearable. But other than that, if you disregard that fact, I like the thought of having like skylights like that, as long as you can close them off somehow when you're sleeping, because light is also an issue up here. So obviously it's worse further up north. It's not as bad as it is here in it's not as bad here in Denmark as it is further up north. Where my mom works, it basically during summer, it doesn't, like the sun doesn't go down at any time. So could you imagine not being able to completely close off your windows when it's literally light outside all the time? Exactly. Yeah, not comfortable. So I do want to point out regarding the skylight and the 3 windows that are by the dining table, those were actually supposed to be aligned, but I just couldn't get the upstairs floor plan to work out so that they would end up aligned. Otherwise the house would have ended up really, really long, and I don't need that much space. So I don't need the house to be that long. So I just decided to disregard that. So yeah, they're not aligned, but they were supposed to be, just so you guys know. I feel like I also mentioned in yesterday's video that for my dream house, like I don't really know what I want it to look like on the exterior, other than I'd probably want to go a more contemporary route. But I said for the interior, I would want the kitchen, the dining room, and also the living room to be in the same room, basically, because that's just, I like that. It's cozy, that you can talk to whoever is cooking, because it most likely will not be me, as I don't cook whatsoever. So anyway, while you're sitting on the couch and watching TV, like there's just more life in there, and I like that. Like you have guests over and you're not split up in all different kinds of rooms around the house. They're just all gathered in one room. So in this house, also by the way, we call those kinds of rooms kitchen all rooms, kökkenalrum. It just means kitchen all room. I don't know why they specifically chose to keep kitchen in there, but I'm not gonna question it. It's fine. Do what you want. And in English, it would probably be called like floor what was that? Open floor plan concept or something like that. So the kitchen table. I can't English today. It's fine. The dining table that is in the kitchen area, you could easily use that for dinner purposes, but I feel like it's more supposed to be for breakfast, and then you use the bigger dining table with the plural chairs. There are 6 chairs around that dining table, 4 chairs around the other one. So the other one is used when you're either having dinner with the family or you have guests over. That's not a traditional thing up here. It's just for this house specifically, I decided to do it like that. I know that you can have like, I've seen several American floor plans actually where they have what they call a breakfast nook. And that's kind of what we're doing right here with this dining table with the 4 chairs. So, and they have a little TV over here as well, just to like stay updated on the news while they're having their cereal in the morning or whatever. So yeah, it's just like a bit of a luxurious kind of addition to the interior, if you will. But like, I feel like if you have more dining tables than just one, that's a bit luxurious. I'm not alone in that, right? But since it's closer to the kitchen than the other dining table is, it's also a question of like, if you don't want to make a big fuzz out of dinner for the day or whatever, you just sit down at that table because it's close by. So yeah, that's basically what that is about. I know they can't use 2 dining tables at the same time, but like if they have plenty of friends over now, at least they have 2 different dining tables plus the bar as well where they could sit, or not the bar, but the island counters, the bar counters. So you could also fit 3 Sims up there as well. So yeah, bit luxurious, but kind of cute at the same time. Kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I liked it. I hope you guys like it too. So down here in the other end of the room, we have the living room area, and it's actually pretty small. The parents have a bigger couch upstairs, but I didn't want this couch to be so wide that it would end up right next to the dining table. So that's also why I was rotating the dining table now and then, just to see if I could actually fit in another section of the couch. But I ended up deciding against it. So, but they have a pretty small couch now. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Sims living in this house. I know. Also, one thing regarding the staircase upstairs, it's only closed off because the lighting situation is a little bit weird when you do attic rooms. The lighting will always like, you know how there's different lighting for inside rooms and then outside areas in The Sims? If you do an attic room, the lighting will always look like it's outside, which is super weird. But if you place a staircase from an attic room down to a closed off room, it'll basically include that light, and it's super annoying. So what I do if I have to include a staircase, it doesn't happen with ladders actually, but it does happen. At least as far as I remember, it doesn't happen with ladders. I could be wrong about that actually. But it definitely happens with staircases. So I decided to close off the room, and you kind of have to go through the laundry room to get up there, but I hope that's okay anyway. It looked more pleasing that everything was sort of symmetrical in a way in the hallway. So I just kept it like that. You'll see what I mean when you see the floor plan pictures at the end of the video, but yeah, so you kind of have to go through the laundry room to get to the upstairs room. I know that's a little bit weird, but it is what it is. I was having huge issues trying to figure out where to place the staircase. Not so much because I had to close it off, like by placing a wall around it, but simply because the upstairs is narrow because it's an attic room. It's a lot narrower, and is that even a word? More narrow. It's a lot more narrow. And I also didn't want to ruin the hallway, like I said. So, but we came up with a solution, although it's a little bit alternative, but I hope you guys don't mind anyway. And then also you can walk through the laundry room to get to not the garage, because there is no garage, but the place where the car is parked. I forgot what it's called right now. I literally do not remember the word. There is a word for it though. Is it carport or something? Carport. I don't know, whatever. And if you walk through there is actually a smaller narrow room by the carport as well. And I decided to put some storage items in there. And what I thought was a new woodworking table. If you watched my overview of the items, I pulled out an item. I was like, that's a new woodworking table. Oh my gosh, we needed that. It's not a woodworking table. I'm pretty sure it's just a desk that looks like you could do something fancy with it, but it's just a desk. However, it looked cute, so I placed it in there, but you can't really use it for anything. So if you really want there to be something useful and functional in there, take out that desk and just place down the woodworking table, or maybe like a flower arrangement table or something else. So, but it's just for show. That room is just for decor purposes, basically. And then in here, we have the children's bedroom. So they share a little cutesy kind of bedroom. I have a fly in my face right now. What the heck? Okay, anyway. They share this little cutesy kind of bedroom that is actually quite neat, I want to say. I usually overclutter my children's bedrooms like crazy, but I just wanted to keep it a little bit neater this time, even though I know that's not necessarily super realistic because children are not always neat. Actually, my cousin, her middle child, is a clean freak, which is so funny because it's so atypical when it comes to children that they're so into cleaning and keeping everything neat and stuff. But he'll literally lock himself in a room and be like, no, you can't come in, I'm cleaning. And like he's actually cleaning like crazy. It's so funny. So I don't know anyway, but that's not the typical, as far as I know. Like as little as I know about kids, they're definitely not usually neat freaks. So yeah, but that one I did just want to like tone down the clutter a little bit because I felt like it would fit with the rest of the house a little bit better. So now we're working on the attic room, which is where the parents' bedroom is. So if it was a little bit easier, or if it would have been a little bit easier to divide attic rooms up into different spaces, I can talk, it's fine. I definitely would have placed 2 bedrooms up here, but it just, with this house, it just wasn't that easy because of the skylight as well, and I didn't want to change the skylight. I wanted it to be there, so I just decided to keep the whole upper floor for the parents. They have their own little walk-in closet here. You do have to walk through the walk-in closet to get to the bathroom, but I felt like it made more sense to have windows in the bathroom compared to the walk-in closet. You also, like, I feel like it's actually healthier for your clothes if they don't get too much sunlight, because as far as I know, it kind of lightens the color of the clothes a little bit. At least it counts for leather goods, so I don't really remember if it's the same for like other fabrics and stuff, but anyway, technical stuff. It doesn't matter, The Sims anyway. So they have their own little walk-in closet. I finally got to make a walk-in closet with the new items. I've said this so many times before, I feel, and also in my overview, but like, I don't have a lot of requirements, or not requirements, but like, yeah, I suppose you could call them requirements for a dream home. I don't need a lot of rooms. I don't need big rooms in any way, but I want like a dining room, kitchen, living room in the same space. I want a bedroom, of course, that's nice and light, but of course you're able to make it dark for the night as well, so you would need like heavy curtains or something, maybe some blinds that are really something, whatever, you guys get what I mean. And then I also want a home office, and I want a walk-in closet. I just want like a pretty walk-in closet. If you've ever gone to IKEA and you've seen the PAX system, I love that. And I know like it's IKEA, whatever. IKEA is pretty good. Let's just appreciate IKEA, okay? But they have this system you can customize yourself. It kind of reminds me, or the new items here actually reminds me of the PAX system. I said that in the overview as well. And I just really want a walk-in closet that I can customize with that system, or something like it, of course. It doesn't have to be the PAX system from IKEA. But yeah, that's basically my requirements for a dream home. That's all I need. A home office, a nice, light, bright bedroom, but dark during the night, and then living room, dining room, and also kitchen in the same room. And that's it. That's all I need. Like, I don't need a huge house or lots of space or lots of rooms or anything. I just want those things, and then I'm fine. But I feel like in Denmark, at least, the houses aren't that big anyway, so it's quite common, at least from what I know. It might be different in other social circles, but in mine, it's quite common to not like have huge houses or huge apartments as well. I actually spoke to an American friend. They live in a house, him and his wife, and they were like, they were curious about my apartment. So my apartment is, I wouldn't say it's big per se, but it's not small for one person either, simply because I need a home office because of my job. So for Danish standards, it's definitely not a small apartment per se. It's not huge either in any way whatsoever, but it's not a small apartment either. And then I told him how big it was, like square meters, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, that is small. How do you live in such a small space?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" So I don't know if it's just specific to his area or whatever, but I just feel like spaces in Denmark, like apartments and houses, just generally are a little bit smaller or something. I don't really know. Especially apartments. If you live in the city in Scandinavia, you probably know what I mean. Even though we don't necessarily think our spaces are super small, but if you compare them to some other places, and I'm not talking like Brooklyn, New York, at all, because those apartments are really small. I'm not talking like Seoul or Japan either, because those are micro. But just like regular apartment sizes, I feel like maybe we're on the smaller sides. I don't really know. Anyway, actually, I'm kind of curious. Now, let me know, because I'd actually really love to know. What's the standard size for, say, a 2-bedroom apartment in your area where you live? I'm actually curious to know now. Like, genuinely, I want to know. This is one of the things that's super cool about being able to talk to you guys, because I get so much input from so many different corners of the world. So you guys tell me where your kitchens are, and if you take your shoes off when you enter the house, or where the laundry machines are in your houses too. Like, a lot of these different things are so different depending on where you come from, and I really appreciate that, like, that we can, I know it's super random, but I'm also a very curious person, so to me, I would love to know, whereas some other people might think it's a little bit of a weird question or whatever. I'm just a very curious person, so I really appreciate that, like being able to ask you guys this, because you come from so many different places. It's quite cool if you think about it, right? So anyway, for the backyard, I was actually experiencing some issues because out of all the backyards or front yards, whatever, that I have seen, both in old classmates or backyards, whatever, and my own backyard when I used to live at home in my childhood home, they're always very grassy and there's not a whole lot going on. So I don't know if it's just because all the families that I've visited aren't really that interested in like landscaping or whatever, or if it's just because I tend to exaggerate everything when it comes to The Sims. So I was staring at this for so long, and at this point it was between 1 and 2 a.m. 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. That was a weird way to say that. Anyway, moving on. So I ended up looking at the backyard for I don't know how long, just sitting here like super frustrated with myself, because I don't know what a cool Scandinavian backyard actually looks like, because the ones that I've seen have just been grassy. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with grassy kinds of backyards. Did I just say apartment before? Whatever, I meant backyard. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with grassy backyards, by the way. Like, I'm pretty sure that our dog very much enjoyed having a lot of space to run around in. But when it comes to The Sims, they just look kind of unfinished, and like you didn't put in a lot of effort and stuff, and I don't want any of my builds to come across like that. So I like to do a little bit with the backyard, and I just did not know what to do at all. So I ended up basically covering up a lot of it, but there is a little grass patch where the swing is, and also there's a cloth dryer, whatever that thing is, clothesline. Yes, there is that too. But other than that, they have I actually like raised up part of the kitchen or not the kitchen actually, the dining area and also the living room area and the children's bedroom. I raised it up by 1 tick, and then I placed a platform outside because it was just, I needed a difference in level. It just looked all kinds of wrong. And then I placed another area where they have this sort of like a lounge area, if you will. They have a gardening area as well. You could definitely remove the terrain paint there if you don't like it. And then I also gave them a sand pit, although there's literally nothing going on in the sand pit, but anyway, there's a toy box and that's basically about it. So this backyard definitely does not look like the backyards that I've seen in this area, but for Sims, I feel like you just need to have a little bit going on in the backyard, otherwise it just looks kind of unfinished, and I'm not for that look at all, so hope you guys are okay with that though. But anyway, that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you like this build. If you do, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And the tray files, as always, will be on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box and in the pinned comment. If you like Roblox videos, check out my Roblox channel, and if you like lifestyle videos, check out my lifestyle channels. Both channels will be linked to in the description box and the pinned comment as well. And that is all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I will see you all in the next one. And also happy Pack Day as well. Bye bye!